Alright, today we're going to keep on going with our roofs, and we need to just kind of keep working down our sheet. So we're going to go down to a Gambrel style roof. We're going to do a hip roof and a Dutch hip roof. Alright, so starting with the Gambrel, what I'd like to do is just go ahead and I'm going to keep on building houses right down the line here. So we'll just put another one next to it. Alright, this one's going to be our Gambrel. So this Gambrel roof is a little bit different from any other roof we did. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that roof. We still have the building geometry. We got those walls in place there. But we got to cover it a little bit differently than we have before. So under the Architecture tab, if you click on the little down arrow next to your roof tool, we've been building roofs by footprint. This is where you draw the roof sketch from the top looking straight down. Today we're going to change that up a little bit for this Gambrel roof. We're going to do what we call a roof by extrusion. So a roof by extrusion, you're drawing on the side of the building, and you're drawing the profile of the roof, and then that's getting extruded out. So we're going to click on roof by extrusion. We're going to go down to pick a plane, hit OK, and then we have to select the side of the building that we want to draw on. So as you notice, as you hover your cursor around the outside surfaces of the building, the computer's going to want to snap onto one of those walls, and that's the surface you're going to draw on. So what I want to do is I want to draw right on this front face of the building, right here what's pre-selected blue. Computer's going to ask me what level the roof is going to be built on. We'll say level 2. That's fine. All right, and then any lines that I draw at this point, all right, are going to be associated with the plane or the surface where I was building that geometry. Okay, so if I just go ahead and click on this front view here, you can kind of see things straight on from the side. And that's really important to draw things straight on from the side or from that orthographic view where you're looking straight on perpendicular to the plane that you're drawing on, because you want your line geometry to be accurate. Okay, so then the next thing here is I just want to find the middle of my box. All right, and I want to start constructing some line geometry. So just by putting that parallel line, or sorry, not parallel line, that one diagonal line going across the entire building from the exterior endpoint to the exterior endpoint, I can now find the midpoint here as like a little pink triangle. Alright, and with that, I just want to go ahead and draw a line up to the top where I want to put the ridge for my Gambrel style roof. So the ridge on this one is going to be right up here, right in the middle. And then we're going to have a real shallow roof slope and then a real steep roof slope off to the side. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of come back and we'll start sketching this out. And you can just eyeball this. Alright, this doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, but I do want you to have a shallow line and then a steep line that comes down to about halfway along through the building. Okay? And then what we're going to do, we're going to just go ahead and select these two lines together. So I can pick one line, hold down the control key, pick the other one, or I can drag a box over both of them. But I want those two lines to mirror across this axis that I still have. So to do that, we're picking those two lines. We're going to use our mirror tool. Alright, we're going to select the mirror axis. The computer's going to mirror that geometry across the mirror line, and then I can delete that mirror line, which was just construction geometry. And at that point, I'm left with 4 lines that are going to represent the shape of my roof. So I'll hit that little green check mark, and we'll take a look at some of the issues with this as of right now. Most of it is pretty good. We got to clean it up just a little bit. So we'll select that roof. I'm looking at the way the rafters were cut here. Right now it's set up as plumb cut, which doesn't look quite right. So we'll change that over to a 2-cut plumb. So that's just going to cut it off at the end of that line. All right. And then the next thing is you can always come back in and you can extend the roof. So if you wanted a little bit of an overhang on one side, you can just click on the roof itself and you got like a little blue grip here where you can adjust that. And then lastly, we got a couple of walls. I'm just going to multiple select the walls just by holding control. I'm going to click on that attach tool right here and we're going to click on the roof. So we're attaching the walls up to the roof. Now that was done manually for all the other, or sorry, automatically for all the other little houses there. For this particular house, you actually have to select the walls, click attach, and then pick the roof above it. Alright, but that's your Gambrel style roof, and we can move on. Alright, let's go down to the next one. Next one's going to be a hip. A hip roof is probably the easiest roof to build in Revit. What we'll do for this one, let's just go back to any of the other previous roofs. Actually, you know what? How about just go with the flat roof? And we'll copy that right on down the line. So we'll put that right next to the gambrel. All right, and we'll come back in and we'll just edit this roof. Okay, a hip roof has slope on all surfaces. All right, so like I said, easiest roof in Revit, every line gets a slope. All right, and if you click the little finish button, that is ultimately your definition of a hip roof. So every side of the roof gets slope. These are really good roofs for more complex building forms. So if you have some wall geometry that's not lined up perfect or doesn't quite look right, you can set those up really easy. Okay. Next one up is a Dutch hip. So what we'll do is we'll take that hip roof and we'll copy that right next door. All right. And now what we're going to do, and this is where things get a little bit kind of tricky. What we want to do is we actually want to cut this roof off at a couple feet up off the ground and build a new roof where it's just a gable roof in its place. So what we'll do is we'll go to an elevation view, all right, and I need to add a new level. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and click on our architecture tab in that elevation view. We're going to go ahead and drag a new level out. I'm going to put mine 4 feet up off the ground. Okay. This new level is called level 3 for me. And what I'm going to do is, I might actually move that up a little bit. Let's go to 15 feet, so it's just a little higher off the ground. There we go. What we're actually going to do is we're going to take that roof that we built, that hip roof, okay, and we're going to cut it off right there at level 3. All right. So we're going to take the roof. We're going to go over to its properties. We're going to look for cutoff level. Where it currently says none, we're going to change that to level 3. If you notice what happened there to your roof, go back to 3D and look at it. You now have a big opening in the middle. That's the perfect opening for a new gable roof that will just pop right in there. And we'll add those two roofs together to create our Dutch hip. So we'll go back to level 3 now, and we'll use that line geometry that was drawn where the cutout's going to be to build a new roof. So I'm actually going to use my pick lines tool now. So we'll switch over to pick lines. I can't use pick walls because these are not walls. Alright, so you could draw lines or you could use a pick walls tool. We can just go ahead and place those lines in the project where they go. And we can go ahead and we can select the lines that we don't want slope on. It's effectively a gable roof, so we have slope on 2 sides here. Okay, and we'll hit the little green check mark. We'll go back to 3D and take a look at what it looks like. We have a nice little Dutch hip. Alright. If we had a little more time, we could stick some wall segments in there and just kind of clean these up, but I think for right now that looks pretty good. Okay, so there's your 3 roofs, or 3 roof types for today. We have our gambrel, we have our hip, and we have our Dutch hip. Go ahead and submit a screenshot of your work.